Anakin Skywalker's age has been a contentious topic when discussing the Star Wars prequels, particularly how old he was in the first two films. First appearing in George Lucas' original Star Wars movie as Darth Vader, Anakin is one of the main staples in the franchise. While his son took center stage in the original trilogy, his fall to the dark side of the Force and later redemption came to define the Skywalker saga. That's why he's appeared in so many movies, TV shows, games, and comics over the years. His most recent on-screen appearance was in Obi-Wan Kenobi on Disney+, and by that point in Star Wars canon, Anakin had been Darth Vader for several years. Because of the mask and already confusing timeline, it can be difficult to pin his age across his various Star Wars appearances, so how old is Darth Vader? Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker is an integral character in Star Wars. He's also one of the few to feature across multiple trilogies, although he isn't in all three. Only Palpatine, R2-D2, and C-3PO hold the honor of appearing in every trilogy of the Skywalker saga, and only the latter pair in all 9 movies. Still, Darth Vader's legacy defines the numerical Star Wars movies even after his death, with his grandson Ben Solo, Kylo Ren and son Luke carrying on Anakin Skywalker's internal moral struggle on more literal terms. The Skywalker saga covers 67 years of Star Wars history, and Anakin Skywalker is around for nearly 50 of them. Pinpointing Anakin Skywalker's age across the many Darth Vader Star Wars appearances can be confusing, to say the least. Chronologically, Anakin first appeared in Star Wars, Episode I, The Phantom Menace and last appeared on-screen in Return of the Jedi, though his voice can be heard as both Anakin and Vader in Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker. Throughout all that time, Anakin lived a lot, fighting in the Clone Wars, training his own apprentice, becoming the youngest member ever to serve on the Jedi Council even though he wasn't a Jedi Master, and co-ruling the galaxy as a Sith Lord. And he did all of that by his mid-40s. Anakin becoming Darth Vader is only one part of his story though, and the Darth Vader part is arguably more interesting too. How old is Darth Vader in the various Star Wars movies and shows? Here's everything there is to know about Anakin Skywalker's age. Anakin Skywalker's Star Wars age timeline explained. Working out how old is Darth Vader means starting with Anakin Skywalker, who was born in 41 BBY, before the Battle of Yavin, the end of Star Wars, Episode 4, A New Hope, which makes him 9 years old in The Phantom Menace, 32 BBY, when he meets Padme, who was 14 years old. Considering they later marry each other and have children together, many fans were concerned about their age gap. However, Anakin was 19 years old when they developed a romantic relationship in Star Wars, Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, 22 BBY. He later turned to the dark side and became Darth Sidious's apprentice when he was 22 years old in Star Wars, Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, 19 BBY. Anakin's journey to becoming Darth Vader is only one part of his story though, and the Darth Vader part is arguably more interesting too. If you want to know how old is Darth Vader in the various Star Wars movies and shows, here's everything there is to know about Anakin Skywalker's age. Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker appears next in the Clone Wars series finale and then later in Star Wars Rebels, but his next movie appearance wasn't until Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, 0 BBY, in which he was 41 years old. Given that A New Hope begins immediately after Rogue One ends, Darth Vader was also 41 years old in that movie. But he's a tad bit older, 44 years old, to be exact, when The Empire Strikes Back begins in 3 Abai, after the Battle of Yavin. And then Vader dies at the age of 45 in Return of the Jedi, which takes place 1 year later in 4 Abai. If Anakin somehow survived the Imperial era and lived through the age of the New Republic, he would have been 67 years old in The Rise of Skywalker. Although he died relatively young, Anakin certainly lived an adventurous and rather disrupting life. Comparatively, Obi-Wan Kenobi died at 57 years old in A New Hope, around the same age as Darth Maul, too. It seems many Jedi and Sith tend to die in their 40s and 50s, with some obvious exceptions like Yoda and Palpatine. How old is Anakin, Darth Vader in Obi-Wan Kenobi? Darth Vader was one of the chief antagonists in the Disney Plus Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Kenobi took place between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, exactly 10 years after Obi-Wan left Anakin for dead on Mustafar. Obi-Wan, who has gone into self-imposed exile, knows of Darth Vader but doesn't realize he and Anakin are the same person until the events of the show. At this point, in the year 9 BBY, Darth Vader is 32, Obi-Wan, by comparison, is 48. Anakin's fighting style is markedly different the second time he faces his former master. He's not only more restrained and calculating but also in less of a hurry. He wants to see his master suffer during Obi-Wan and Darth Vader's duels, either by dragging him through flames or burying him alive, both of which he achieves using the Force. Age might be a factor in this, as he's no longer a bitter, reckless, and impulsive young man by 9 BBY. It could also be down to his cybernetics and changed body, meaning he's less agile and relies more on the Force than deftness with a lightsaber. However, by the events of Obi-Wan Kenobi, it's clear that Anakin has all but completed his journey to the dark side. He's already moved beyond fear and anger, and his final duel with Obi-Wan in Obi-Wan Kenobi represented him moving beyond hatred. Darth Vader doesn't kill Obi-Wan despite how much he hates him, because furthering the cause of the dark side is the true purpose of a Sith, a truth Emperor Palpatine shows him when he forbids Vader to take pursuit despite knowing Obi-Wan remains alive. This might also be the reason that when the two meet for the final time in A New Hope, the 41-year-old Darth Vader doesn't show the same level of rage and aggression toward his former master and appeared indifferent upon finally besting him nearly 2 decades after their first conflict.